Hello and welcome. I am Exit Light, and this is my podcast. Today I have with me Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
What are we going to talk about today, Rob?
I'm going to talk about dreams and past
Dreams.
lives
Yes. I
and
think this is
everything
going
in
to be
between.
an interesting, and wherever we go after that, we never know. I think this is going to be a fun podcast.
Yep, I think it will be.
Before we get started, I'm going to say that Um, I'm gonna have to pick a new winner for the gift card giveaway. So everybody check your messages. It will be a notification in the right of your screen if you're on a laptop or a PC. On your telephone, it's going to be down below in an envelope, and it'll say, I think the envelope turns red or yeah, I think it's red and tells you how many messages you have. I will be replying to your comment, and that's what it's going to tell you. I will be asking for your email so that I can send the gift card through the email. And yeah, I guess that's it. And if you're not already and you would like to be, go ahead and subscribe, please. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you would go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, go ahead right now. You can always go back and unclick it if you hated the content. But sometimes we forget to do the thumbs up before we leave. If you'd like to be notified when my content goes up, you go ahead and click that bell, and somewhere on your screen is going to say be notified every time there's content, occasionally when there's content, or hardly ever when there's content. Go ahead and click until you get the content notification that you would prefer. Is that everything I need to say, Rob?
Yep, I think so.
All right. Then what we're going to talk about is reoccurring dreams. Rob and I each have reoccurring dreams, and this is going to be part one of two podcasts that I do on this subject. I'll have different guests on the next podcast. Rob and I both have reoccurring dreams. Um, I've had my reoccurring dreams, one of them, well, both of them, since I was a small child. And I'm going to talk about those. Rob's going to talk about his and how there could be a connection to possibly having lived through these dreams in a previous life. And that's what we're going to talk about. What do you think, Rob?
I think that it's going to be really interesting, and I'm um, a little bit nervous about talking about my dream because it's a bit crazy. But um, I'm interested in hearing yours because we've purposely not spoke about this, have we?
Right. Although I have told you, and I might have even talked about one on here about a recurring dream I have, but I have two. So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You can go first.
All right. By the way, before I start, baby exit light is doing very, very well. He is growing like a weed and is so cute. And he has somehow managed to become a ginger. He was born with black hair, and then that turned to like medium brown hair. And now this child has red hair and red eyebrows. And when they wash his hair, it looks like a little duck's butt. So
Yeah.
I
Such a
am in
way with
love.
words.
I know, sorry, but it does, and it just makes me want to kiss it. So that is the update on Baby X Light and how he is doing. He should be coming home in, well, it'll be weeks, but he'll be. There's a light at the end of the tunnel at least. Okay, I'll talk about one of my reoccurring dreams.
Go
So
for it.
I have a reoccurring dream in which I am being chased. And I I am at my grandparents' house. It ends up being that I'm at my grandparents' house. And at my grandparents' house, which doesn't actually look like my grandparents' house ever looked. It's just in my head I know that it's my grandparents' house. There is a hidden passageway, hidden doorway that you can't see from just looking at the wall. Sometimes it's in the ceiling. It's a it's in a closet, and you can get to this hidden room through the ceiling, and you can't see that there's a door up there in the ceiling. So I'm being chased, and I have to hide in this room. The room is always the same. The room is dusty. It's got furniture in it. It has the furniture and everything else is clean, but the room just has a dusty feeling to me. There's no light, there's no window in it because it's hidden. I have to be very, very quiet so they don't find me. And in one of the dreams, there's when you go into the passageway, you have to crawl and to get into this room. And the other one, you have to go up the ceiling. Either way, it's kind of going. You have to go through something to get into the room. It's there's a old porcelain doll sitting on a little rocking chair. Always,
Whoa,
she's
okay.
the rocking chair is for a child. The porcelain doll is has brown hair. She has a pink dress, and she's sitting like somebody had been playing with her, and then she kind of fell over, so her head is against the arm part of the chair. There's a little area for cooking in the room. There's a small two cushion couch, like a love seat. There's a carpet, a rug on the floor. It's round. It looks like it has been like it's a handmade rug. I don't know how to explain it. There's a lot of different fabrics in the rug that have been sort of tied together, kind of,
Yeah.
and it's just the size for this room. And I sit on this rug and play with my toys. There's a wooden, very small wooden play kitchen. It's very small. I sit on my I am usually wearing a dress with anklets, little ankle socks, patent leather
Right.
shoes, and my hair is up in pigtails, and I will sit sideways with my legs to the side, curled, like ladylike, and play with this little kitchen. But I have to be very quiet. And when I'm in this room, I'm not afraid anymore from whatever was chasing me. And because I know that they can't find it. They can't see it. And I I don't ever remember anybody. I don't think I ever dream about anybody being in there with me, but I do feel like there is a woman with dark hair in there. She's wearing a dress as well, but I don't ever feel like we have any communication per se. So I don't know if she would be like my mother or I don't know, but it's very vivid, and I have had this dream since I was little.
Sounds like the plot to The Conjuring.
Yeah, right. Yes, that's weird.
Or Annabelle.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, remember they go in that behind the armoire or whatever it is, and there's that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that, or I guess it would have reminded me of it, but yeah, it does. Yuck. So I wonder, because it's very clear, because in this one I see it as I am the child, but I can also see what I look like. Not my face. I know how my hair is done simply because it's to the side of my head. But I am looking at everything through her vision. I do see the way she's sitting from a farther back. Her dress is white, but it has green flowers on it. It's tied at the waist. It's got it's has little short cap sleeves on it, and I have no I. This isn't like a dress that I ever remember owning, and nor would I understand. No, nor would I dream about it in this kind of a exact same thing over and over and over and over and over for my whole life. I used to think that I had this dream when I was stressed out, and perhaps it was me trying to run away from the stress, and I find a room and I get in the room and it protects me from the stress. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
maybe some psychiatrist would listen to me and tell me that that was it. I'm just looking to get away from stress.
When you're, excuse me, when you're thinking about the dream during the day,
Hmm.
do you ever get like a deja vu feeling? Or
No.
you no, okay.
Mm-mm. No, but it does feel like a memory.
Yeah,
Then I have always wondered, like, does it feel like a memory because I've dreamt it so many times? And it's funny because I hadn't started thinking about this connection possibly to past lives things until I was talking to my dad about another dream that I have reoccurring that's also very, very detailed. And he said maybe maybe that was a past life. I have a huge fear of tornado sirens. That noise that tornado sirens make.
mm,
It scares me badly. And those used to be before they were tornado sirens, they were bomb sirens.
during the Blitz.
Yeah, and during like Kennedy's presidency, where they would hide under the desks in case there was a
Yes.
nuclear war. So yeah, so for a long time, those it's the same sound, same alarms that have been used to signal danger, and I it just makes my skin crawl. And there's a sound very similar to that that they use. This is so weird that they use on in scary movies that have to do with monsters, and also that movie where the people are going to kill me right now, where the cars turn into the alien guys.
Yeah. Can we not
What's
say the
that?
word?
Well, no, what's the
Transformers.
name? What? Transformers. Yeah. Okay. Everybody out there just went, oh, God, I can't believe she. Transformers. She can't remember that. Um, there's a noise it makes. It's a crunching, metallic, twisting noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't listen to it. My kids all know, and my husband all know that this noise freaks me out, and it feels like a really, really unrealistic fear. But it's also at the same time, it's always tied into this dream somehow. And the siren is tied into this dream as well as my other dream. So until my dad said, maybe that was a past life memory. Then all of a sudden, like a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, oh my God. Well, that actually is what makes sense. So,
Yeah, yeah,
can I read something that has to do with past life memories?
of course you can.
This is like 7 signs that you've had a past life or you've had a past life dream. Okay, so memories from your past lives don't always come when you're awake. Some of the most vivid past life recalls I've ever had was through dreams. Some that began in childhood, others that emerged as an adult. If you've ever experienced vivid dreams that feel unbelievably real, then information and symbols from past lives may be coming to through your subconscious. So here are 7 unmistakable qualities of past life dreams. They show historical detail. Regular dreams will generally have only places, people, and things that are familiar to you in your current life, which makes sense because you dream about what is familiar. You know you're starting to tap into a past life when the dreams involve historical settings or period clothing, which this dream does. The the doll, the wooden kitchen set, what I'm wearing and how I'm dressed is all historical, not a current modern setting. In fact, it's entirely possible that you'll dream of being at a significant event in history. The details will be so clear, and so will the sensation of having been there before, which you said is a deja vu.
Yeah.
On a few occasions, I've had past life dreams where I was vividly experiencing something in the past. Everything in the dream was clearly a specific time period, except for me. I was still dressed in clothes from present day, which I am not. You don't look or act like yourself. Both of my reoccurring dreams, I don't look like myself. Do you in yours?
In one of them, I do. Yes. In one of
Okay.
them, I look what I perceive to be me as a younger man, but I'm not
Okay.
100% sure.
Okay. It says, have you ever had a dream where you're seeing and experiencing through the eyes of someone else? A dream where you were someone else? This is a common sign of a past life dream. Both of my main reoccurring dreams are that. The majority of your dreams will place you as the primary point of view, and you'll look as you do in this life. Most of the time, you're outside of your body or your head looking out and watching the dream unfold as you move through it. In a past life dream, though, you may see yourself as a different gender, age, race, religion, etc. And in one of my dreams, I am a different race. So, you're always a man in yours, a male?
Yeah. 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 I am. I'm just. Does it? Is there anything there about if you actually feel the experience yourself, what's happening in the dream, you actually feel that?
Yeah, it said that you are actually experiencing it as though you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it feels like familiar, like a deja vu kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It says um, in karmic dreams, you often exhibit behavior that's unlike you, and you are able to do things that you can't do in this life. This includes your thoughts, skills, and even emotional range. You might be able to speak or understand another language, which is also something I have in one of my other dreams. Or you might have the knowledge of a farmer or the training of a soldier. You might find yourself with more readily available compassion or sometimes violence. One of the coolest things that can start happening after a karmic dream is that these skills and talents begin to manifest in your daily life. It can feel a lot like remembering. It can feel like deja vu. It's incredibly intuitive and spontaneous. They are repeating and unchanging. Regular dreams jump from one scene to another. They also have a rather fast pace. and when remembering or telling them to others, they can seem a bit random. I I hate it when people tell me their dreams. I mean, like, hate it because to the person who had the dream, it makes complete sense that they were chasing a bunny, they went down a hole, and then they were a scarecrow. And you know what I mean? And they're like, and then I was a scarecrow, and a storm came, and I got struck by lightning, and I woke up in a car at a drive-in movie. And they're like, isn't that weird? And you're like, I know that gave you a feeling of something, but that just to me is like throwing Scrabble tiles at a wall and
Trying to
you
make a
know,
word.
it's yeah, trying to make a word. It's just that's it just isn't because you wake up sometimes from a dream and you're like, oh my god, that dream was amazing, and you try and tell it to somebody and you're just like, the more you say talk about it, the more like this is dumb. But other people don't realize that. So if I tell you a dream, if I say I got to tell you about a dream, it has to have been like something amazing because I won't even tell people my own dreams because I feel like they're looking at me like that was weird.
Well, I need to
Um,
apologise then, don't I?
no, why?
Because I told you about my dreams.
You know, no, but your dreams are always cohesive. When you're telling me about your dreams, are cohesive. Most people's dreams, if you can tell me about a dream that's cohesive, like my son has some dreams that are drop dead unbelievable and really are will set you back on your heels because he has this, I don't want to be weird, but this really profound, he can have these really profound dreams where he's told this other language to remember this word and to look this word up in a particular book. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Rob?
I think so,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
and they
Yes.
found, yeah, okay, and it was, and we looked it up, and it was there, and it described this place, and it was nothing that he had ever or would have ever come in contact with, and so stuff like that I find fascinating. So if you have a
Yeah.
cohesive dream, that's different from the ones that hop in and out of weird stuff, you know? Suddenly I was a bear. Okay, keep those to yourself. Anyway, all right. The majority of people aren't deeply and consistently connected with their higher selves through the subconscious, so chaos reigns in your dreams. But when you dream that you're cleaning the kitchen and you walk through the door into your office where there's a birthday party happening and the Pope is there, this is what happens in regular dreams, right? That's what I'm talking about. Somebody's like, oh my God, and I walked out and the Pope was there. When you have a past life dream, the events are logical and there is a sense that you aren't in control of what's happening. This is because your subconscious isn't creating this dream. The source is higher, and so you are truly an observer here. And when the dreams recur, which they often do, which is another sign of a past life dream, they never change. You watch the same sequence of events each time with little or no variation and no ability to influence the dream, which I've said down here a million times. I have the ability to influence my dreams. And in these dreams, I don't.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in your past life dream, or no, in your reoccurring dream, that you have the ability to change anything?
Um, I have tried and I've been told that I need to try, and I have been unable to. The um, I wish I could. I
Yeah.
wish I could change them, but I'm unable to do that. I'm or I'm not skilled enough to do that.
And do you mind if I ask, and you don't have to say anything, who has said that you should try and change them?
Well, I had a counsellor that told me and
Uh-huh.
explained the dream to me, or explained her interpretation of the dream.
Right.
And I also saw um, a lady who does mindfulness, which is a form of meditation, and she explained the dream, and she was basically repeating what the counsellor had told me.
Okay.
Um, because I get a lot of flashbacks as well, which are completely different than dreams
Right.
uh, from my time in the military.
Right.
And um, can I explain my dream now?
Um.
Just going to make
Yes.
a little bit more sense.
Um.
But,
Yeah. Go ahead, and then I'll finish the rest of these because there's seven, and then I'll
no,
finish
go
the rest of
on.
this. But while you're talking and you're on that subject, um, yes, we can go talk about your dream, and we can come back to this.
Okay, right. Um, I have to warn people. This is quite not a very nice dream.
Okay.
I am in a house now. I don't think I recognise the house. Um, and people keep coming to the door and banging on the door, and I don't know what to do. I panic, and I decide, or I feel like the only option that I've got is to open the door and to kill the person at the door,
Mhm.
and then put their body in the basement or the cellar, and this keeps happening. People keep coming to the door, banging on the door. I open the door, I kill the person that's at the door, I put them down in the basement. And I, the thing that was worrying me was this was really, really vivid. Now, I wasn't concerned about the fact that I was taking these people's lives. I was more concerned about getting found out. Now, this dream became so. I mean, I think I've told you this, Tracer, that I even at one stage had to sit down and think, have I ever lived anywhere that's got a cellar or a basement? Because I was so convinced that this was real.
Mhm.
Absolutely so convinced that it was real. And obviously I
Can I
hadn't.
ask you something?
Yeah, of course you can.
Do you think that be if it was a like a past life memory, do you think that you were so convinced it was real because your body re- or whatever it is remembers it as a real event. So therefore you remember it as and feel it as being real?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely 100%. 100%.
Hmm.
I am convinced that this is happening and
Huh.
that I'm doing it. It's not me. It's like a memory. That's what was so
Right.
concerned me. That's that's what scared me. I mean, I was even at, like I said, I had to look back and think about where I'd lived, and I was even prepared to go to the police and say I need to confess,
Oh no.
um,
Wow.
because it was disturbing me and bothering me so much that I it was horrible.
And is it's more than one person, or you keep dreaming about it's the same person over and over?
The people that I'm killing,
Yeah, what there's more than one person coming to the door.
loads of people,
Okay.
loads of people. It gets ridiculous in the end. I can't. can't hide the bodies anymore. I'm trying to hide the bodies, and I've got nowhere to hide them. The cellar's full, and I end up with a room full of dead bodies as well. And I am panicking that I'm going to get found out. I'm going to get found out. That makes me panic in my dream, and it makes me more, makes me feel like I need to actually do the action and and take these people's lives even more because I'm going to get found out. And that's I wanted to know why I wasn't worried about the fact that obviously I'm committing a crime, the worst crime, and I'm just worried about getting found out. Now, I I have talked about Golden Chase.
I was gonna say maybe, Rob, it's because you feel justified that they're pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding, and it's terrorizing you so badly that you feel justified in opening the door and stopping it any way you can. So maybe that's why you're not feeling guilty about the act of killing them, but then afterwards you're afraid you'll get found out, which is sort of being remorseful that you did kill them, Rob,
Yeah,
because you know that it was wrong.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. You're spot on. Um, and when I have talked to counsellor and the mindfulness lady, they both said that I have had a lot of trauma in my life, and I've lost a lot of people that are really close to me. That it's my way of dealing with it. I am Instead of dealing with my loss or my grief, I am burying it away, and I am basically not dealing with real life. I'm I'm, I'm trying to kill it. I'm trying to anything but face up to it, and I'm just that's what they both basically said to me, which makes sense to me. Um, hasn't stopped the dream, but it's made it does make sense because I obviously me and you have talked a lot, and I have had a lot of loss,
Hmm.
and um, I have um, not really faced up to a lot of stuff, but it's very different than um, it's not to do with my PTSD. It's not like a flashback. It is completely separate um, because obviously I had a lot of trauma when I was in the military, and it's completely separate and completely different from that. Completely, too many completely's in that sentence.
Totally. Well, okay, so of course, a doctor and all that stuff is going to be more likely to say that. I mean, I think what they told you is probably psychology 101. Just like, you know, when I said any psychiatrist would tell me that I'm running away from my problems and I'm going to hide. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but do you feel that it could be a past life memory, or do you think it is just what they say? What do you think?
I think it could be a past life,
Hmm.
but it's I don't like to face up to that fact because obviously then if it is a past life, I wasn't a very nice person.
Well, yeah, but you don't know because you don't know the history, or why he was being chased down, or you can't really judge that. You can't judge that from the one little snippet you get. I mean, obviously it's violent, but that doesn't mean it's unjustified. Because you don't know that you wouldn't know that whole history, and perhaps maybe you were, and then you live this life and you see a lot of loss, which is seeing the fallout from what happens when a life is taken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe look at me. Look at me, Professor. Uh,
If you ever get accused of murder, will you represent me?
I definitely will. But I mean, like if you were that if that was like some bad event that was, an evil act that and you have to relive your life to learn your lessons. Um Maybe the lesson was this is what happens this is what when life was taken, there's fallout and
Yeah,
maybe you're going to heaven right after that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Got my ticket booked.
Do you? Me too. Me too. Um well, gosh, you should like the thing is so what era is it happening in?
Well, it feels like now. It feels like in my lifetime. It
It
feels
does.
like it's happened in my lifetime. That was what was so perplexing that really worried me.
Hmm. Maybe you
And
should
I
look up
wait.
and see if there was any killers that buried all the bodies in a cellar.
The only one I know is the guy that, and I don't even know if he's died yet. The one who dressed up as a clown.
Oh, John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, he buried
Oh,
them
he's
under his
dead.
house.
You're
Is he dead?
right. Yeah, he's dead. Ooh, how do you feel about clowns?
I hate clowns. I'm not a
Good.
big fan. I'm not a big fan.
So we won't be seeing you dress up as one anytime soon.
No, not not willingly.
That's very interesting. Um, I can
Do
I
you think?
Go
Sorry
ahead.
to shut you. Do you, when you have your reoccurring dreams, do you, when you wake, do you feel the emotion from the dream? Because I would, when I have this dream, it puts me on a downer for the rest of the day. I feel
Hmm.
really, really emotionally drained.
Hmm.
And do you get that kind of feeling?
No.
No. No.
No. Mm-mm. No. Well, um, no, I don't because the first one about hiding, um, that one makes me feel safe, and so it basically stops not long after I'm feeling safe. I never leave that room again in my dreams ever. I've never left the room. Uh, so I don't know what happens after that. So I just leave it feeling safe.
It's funny you should say that you never leave the room again and you feel safe. Because joking apart, we both have said we would love to live in an old air raid shelter or an old bunker,
Yes.
which would be somewhere safe that we would never leave again.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
you're
weird, isn't it?
right. That is weird, Rob. Well, okay, so okay, so now you said that, let me read this number 4 here. These dreams explain your strange quirks and behaviors. Okay, so so let's think about that. In your current life, you've developed into a complete person with a fully formed personality. But we all have those odd quirks and beliefs and superstitions that don't seem to match anything else about us. These are often carryovers from past lives, and the source of which can be revealed in a past life or karmic dream, like the fact that I'm scared to death of air raid sirens. I I grew up in Washington State um, for most of my life. There, I never heard an air raid siren in real life until I moved here, and that was for a tornado. But I've always been afraid of them, even though I'd never heard one. So that's a weird quirk. The fact that we want to live in an old missile silo, deep, deep, 3 miles down in the middle of the earth, where nobody can bother us, and and never leave. That's that's kind of a weird quirk, don't you think? That we both happen to have. I think
And
it's
it
a
was,
quirk.
well, it was funny how we both, I don't know, was it me or you? I think I said it to you, and you went, I can't believe you just said that.
You said, "Do you know where I'd really love to live?" And because we're
Yeah.
always so similar, I said, "Don't say it, Rob. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it." And then you were like, you said it, and I was like, "Me too." Like you can search my, you can look at my search history on my computer and see that I look through for the ones that are on for sale, and 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 dream about someday living a subterranean life.
Maybe in our maybe our past lives we were worms.
Yeah, this is moving up the food chain. I don't know, but that is a strange quirk, right? It
Yeah.
says, in your past life, the belief likely made sense, but here in this life, it just seems out of place. Past lives influence your current behaviors as well. They can explain some of your compulsions, your phobias, like claustrophobia, which I have badly. I don't, and you and I both can't stand being in groups of people,
No.
or always needing to sit next to a door or facing a window. Oh
Yeah.
well, I I have to sit at the if I go to the movies, I have to sit at the end of the row. Like even if I can't see the screen very well, I'm not those people. You know those people who like, oh, I want to sit right in the middle. That to me is terrifying
Yeah.
because like how are you going to get out? That's I think I spend a lot of my time thinking, how are you going to get out? And it's why I'm afraid of heights. Did I tell you about the news that at SeaWorld they have a gondola that goes over the water? I think this is in San Diego. It goes over the water at night. First off, to SeaWorld. Anyway, and this gondola, it was like I don't know, it was dark out, and it was going over the water, and it like the fuses blew. So people were stuck in these gondolas, and I they were having to get out by boats, like fire firemen boats. That sounded
Yeah.
like
I know what
a
you mean.
first
Yeah.
grader. Firemen boats. You know, I don't know. They whatever. You got it right. And they
Yeah.
were taking these boats out there and then putting these ladders up, 150 feet high. And then the people were supposed to get out of the gondola. And in my head, I'm thinking, F that. I know me. I jumped off a running horse and, and got my foot caught in the stirrup, so I paid for it because I was afraid. So I know that there isn't a switch in my head that says this is a bad idea. So like we have a mall in Dallas and it's 3 stories high and it's got like a glass
Oh,
barrier that you look over.
oh yeah.
Yeah. And I can't. I can't go to it. I have to stand back several feet. I'm afraid I'll jump. I'm afraid that there's a thing in my and let me tell you, because people are going to be like, that's stupid. But there's a lot of people that that is what their fear is. If you ever mention it, like at a party, uh, maybe you've had a few too many, and you say, I'm afraid I'll jump, you'll be surprised how many people will say, me too. And that's why they don't like heights. I'm afraid I'll jump. And some, because the thoughts pass through your head. Like, if I jumped, would I land on that table down there? Whatever. Things just go through your head, and I think that my head doesn't stop that and move on.
Hmm.
So, when I saw that gondola thing, my stomach just like twisted, and I was afraid that I would jump out. And people on Twitter were like, "Why don't they just jumping out?" Well, I don't know, because it's 100 feet up. Could have something to do with it, that the water's going to feel like concrete when they hit it. But in my mind, that would be the option between getting on a ladder. All right, let me tell you a story, Rob. We we built a house in Arizona, for us to live in. And we would go every day, all day, to see the progression. And we went one night, and my husband is in construction, and he brought a ladder, and I climbed up the ladder into what would be um, Maya and Josh's room. It was 2 stories high. Okay, this is just the upstairs.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out. I couldn't, and there's no stairs in the house. That's why we had to use a ladder. There's no stairs. It hadn't been built yet. There's no other way down. I've seen my husband walk on a 2x4, and like it's nothing. Thankfully he doesn't have to do that part anymore or ever again. But I couldn't get on the ladder and get back out. I suggested we might have to call the fire department. And he said, "Guess what? You're going to be getting on a ladder." Oh shit! I mean, they're not going to bring like a helicopter and hook me up and take me out. Yeah, it took me. He was like, it's okay, walking me through this whole thing. Like I couldn't let him. Don't touch me, don't touch me, because I was afraid if he touched me, I would like jump. It took me like 45 minutes. What an idiot! I write scary stories, but don't ask me to get on a ladder from 10 feet high. I don't know.
Yeah. For people who don't know, Tracy could write the scariest story ever. He's scared of watching horror films.
Mhm. Yes, because when I write the story, I'm in
In
control
control.
of. I'm in control of the scare. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so um, if you have a memory from this life that helps you understand why you do or do not do certain things, it's likely that it's from your past life. So maybe I should start. I don't know. Maybe I should stop being afraid of air raid sirens. But I live in Texas, and if you guys have caught the weather lately, we're in the middle of the we're in the middle of a huge tornado season. So I don't think that's going to stop in the next week. Me being afraid of that noise. I don't know, Rob. Let's just go and live in a bomb shelter or a missile silo. We can go be 2 crazy people together. We can watch baking shows. That'll be
Yeah.
great. All right. All right. Uh, let's see. Some of your reoccurring emotional states and physical conditions can be explained by your past life. If you tend to have arthritis in one knee but not in the other, and not in any other joints, a past life dream could reveal an injury or violence that happened on that side of your body. Hmm, I don't know about that.
Well, if that's true, all the injuries and illnesses I've got, someone must have dropped me out of a plane with no parachute.
You and me both.
That's how it works.
I have a feeling though, Rob, if there are past lives, you and I, we had to have known each other.
Yeah.
I mean, we were related somehow. We were brother and sister or best buds. We were related somehow. A quick temper in this life is a constant sense of financial doom or a tendency for being too generous to a fault could find its origins from your dreams. If you find that you were understanding something about your body or emotions that you didn't know before, it's likely that you've had a past life dream. A quick temper in this life could mean what? I had a quick temper in my past life?
Yeah.
Well, great. The next life's going to be fun. Maybe I'll be opening the door and shooting people.
Oh dear me.
Okay, Rob. Um, it also says your spiritual issues could be revealed. It's likely that a past life can explain why you have anxiety or depression in your life. Well, no, my current life explains that. I don't need to go back too far. Um, all right. So, do you want to hear about my second recurring dream, which I have
Yeah.
told you before, but I haven't told anybody who's still sticking around? Okay. By the way, people really liked my impersonation of a coyote last week. So,
Okay.
there you
Okay.
go. Anyway, at some point you're gonna have to do an impersonation of an animal as well. I have done that several times on these podcasts.
I can do a dog really well.
You can do a dog.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Thank
That was very good.
you.
Meow, meow. Okay, that was. We're going off track.
Just a bit.
Okay, here's my other past life dream, or reoccurring dream, which does really feel like, thanks to my dad for bringing this to my attention, it does really feel like that would explain it being a past life dream. And here it goes. I am a small child, like somewhere between around 2 to 3 years old. I am like Samoan or something of an Asian descent. I am wearing a white dress that has long sleeves. It's just like muslin material. It goes down almost all the way down to my feet. My mother is standing beside me. She's got a baby in her left arm. She the baby is a boy, and he's not very old. He's probably 4 months old. And we're standing on a beach. The water is has been pulled back. So it's the sand, it's not fluffy sand. It's that hard sand, like on low tide when you have that really hard sand
Yeah.
that's soaked with water, so it's
Yeah.
making it firm.
Yeah.
So we're standing there. I see that there are like I shells and things on the ground that I normally wouldn't see. And I'm looking up at my mother. I'm like chewing on my fingers as a little kid does. Looking up at my mother, I see that there's other people on the beach scattered along this same same line that we're on. Like we're all standing at the same place in the sand, but they're farther and farther and farther. Not a lot of people. Maybe 20, but they're standing there. I can hear the like a siren or some weird sound, some weird noise is loud. There's a loud noise, and I don't know what it is because it doesn't feel like it's at a time where there would be a siren, like it would be invented. It feels very tribal. She's holding the baby who he's not wearing anything, and she's looking away from me, and her hair is up in a bun, and also she is appears well, she's Asian as well. Maybe Japanese, but I don't know how to pull it in to a specific uh, but and she puts her hand down on me, and she looks out to the water, and I see the water is coming back, but it's coming back like 30 feet tall. It's very tall, even though I'm very small. It's so tall that it looks like the tallest wall I've ever seen as a child. And I know that this is dangerous. And my mother is crying, but not like sobbing. She's just holding on to us, and there's tears coming down her cheeks. And that's why I keep looking at her. I keep looking at her face to like give me a sign, say something. Uh, there is voices, and they are speaking a different language than English. And I turn around and I see the water coming, and I notice that it it looks clear, and I feel it hit me, and it hits me hard. And I remember thinking that it hit me so hard that it felt like a wall, like I had fallen into a wall,
Yeah.
and everything goes black, and I know I am dead.
Do you have any? Is that the point you wake up?
Yes,
So you're in a tsunami, aren't you?
tsunami. Yeah, yeah. And it's really funny because not funny, but really odd because my whole life, we used to call tsunamis tidal waves. Remember back before
Yeah.
they were called. I don't think people started calling them tsunamis on a regular basis until that one that hit on Christmas. Remember like 9 years ago, that really horrific one that killed like 100,000 people in Phuket.
Yeah.
Um, so we used to call them tidal waves. My whole life, I have had, and I grew up in Washington State, on the east side of Washington State, so pretty far from water. Terrified of tsunamis and deep water. Terrified. I remember going to campfire camp, which was on a lake, and they would made us learn to swim. And I've always, as soon as I get into to this day, if I get into water that's over my up to my neck, I have a panic attack. I can't breathe. So you'll find me with the little kids, and that's okay. It's really like we went to Jamaica, and we went out and the water was above my, like, up to my neck, but my husband like had me riding on his back. So I felt like I'm probably not going to drown. But don't I won't go out there by myself. I will swim into the deep end if I'm like, especially if I'm like on my back or something, but I will not stand in deep water. I won't do it. And I've always been afraid of, to see a huge wave like on TV or in a movie. You know that feeling when you get like something scares you and it's that jolt, almost like a real jolt of electricity?
Yeah,
I get that.
it's crazy.
So I think I was killed in a tsunami when I was a small child of some Asian descent.
It's a weird thing to, not weird, probably the wrong word. Um, how long have you been having this dream? Can you remember? Has it been for all your life?
No, I didn't start having this dream until I was an adult. I've always been afraid of, and I always have dreams about tidal waves and whatnot. I always have dreams every night. Every time I go to sleep, I would say maybe 95% of the time. At some point in the time, I'm going to have a dream about deep water, which also didn't start until I was an adult. And if I was a psychiatrist, I would say, you're feeling overwhelmed. And the deep water is what's in your dream is manifesting itself as what's overwhelming you, which could be on a regular dream, but not this dream, not that reoccurring dream. That's very specific. And I didn't start having that until I was, I don't know, probably 25, I think.
So it was way before that tsunami hit
Oh
the place.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh yes, much I'd never heard of a, well, I'd I'd never heard of a real tsunami. I guess the Oregon coast had one, but we used to go vacation to the Oregon coast, and they have a warning that says that they could have tsunamis, and their alarm system is cows mooing, which is nice. It's better than the bomb things. But I never even heard it referred to as a tsunami ever until that one that happened several years ago. It was always called tidal waves and stuff. And no, it was long before, long before that.
see, that's unusual in itself.
Yeah, yeah. Before I honestly, and they didn't have like TV like they do now, or the internet like they do now, or you can see videos of tsunamis and stuff like that, or see historical documentaries about tsunamis that happened, whatever, 1,000 years ago or whatever. None of that. It
Yeah,
was it was just this vision of me being killed by this huge wall of water.
scary that. I
Yeah,
think.
and that's the one my
Yeah,
dad said. Maybe that's a past life because I mean, uh, if you're like if a psychiatrist, I mean, I'm sure they could figure out some hoops to jump through to explain it. But I'm standing there as a little child knowing that I understand a language that I don't currently speak. And I'm understanding that they are speaking a language, a foreign language that as I'm dreaming this, I don't understand it, but this child I do.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah. That's what so here I am. Didn't even think of it until my dad mentioned it and I thought, "Bingo, that's it. That's what it is." And that explains my fear of the water and why I've always been afraid of tidal waves.
Yeah.
In the forest of Washington, one girl afraid of a tidal wave. Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
There's my other one.
See, I'm a little bit like you. I'm not comfortable in. I'm not too bad in deep water if it's like the swimming pool and stuff like that, because I can swim underwater and everything. But if I'm
Uh-huh.
in the sea and I'm really out of my depth,
Mhm.
I'm scared of what could be there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't like that either. Well, I know what could be there. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, exactly. Um, well, that might be just from watching Jaws. I don't know.
I think a lot of people had that problem after watching Jaws. And in the rivers here, we have those alligator gar. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Mm-mm. No thanks.
no, they're nasty, horrible looking prehistoric things, aren't
They shouldn't exist.
they? No, you should have died out with the dinosaurs.
Yes, they should have. Thank you. So, what do you have another reoccurring dream?
I do, yeah. And I don't know if this is a past life. I don't think it is, but it's. I'll let you and the people who are listening to make their own comments about this. I am about 20 years old, or sort of late teens, early 20s, and I I'm in where I was born in Manchester. It looks completely different now. Obviously, over the years, it's changed and it's it's hard to recognise. And well, I'm back there, and I'm back there a long, long time ago, and um, it is just sort of a village, a tiny village, and I know everywhere. I know where all the places are. I can compare them then to now. Um, but the reason I don't think it's a past life is because I lost my dad when I was little, when I was quite young. His
Right.
grave is there,
Oh,
and I go to his grave.
whoa.
But the time thing doesn't add up because obviously I'm talking about like 100, 200 years ago, maybe 150 years ago. That's the sort of time period I'm talking about. Obviously, I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. So I don't
Hmm.
know how. Well, the weird thing is, I've looked at old photographs of the area. Um, we used to have, well, it's probably still there, the library where I'm from. It was very old, the library, and they had a lot of old photographs of the area. And my dream was pretty spot on.
Really?
Yeah, and obviously I'd never I've never looked it up, but my dream
Right.
was spot on about the how the place looked, and um, so I don't know. And
Okay,
I would,
so is it possible that your father also happened to be buried in the same cemetery that your relative was buried in your previous life? Is that cemetery old enough for that?
yeah, yeah, gosh, yeah, thought of it like that.
So maybe it could be something like that, Rob.
Yeah, yeah, because I always find it quite sad the dream because I want to I want to be able to meet my dad, but I can't do that because obviously he's dead. Well, he's buried alive, but
Huh. I
I don't know where that
can't
came
laugh
from. Where
about
that was.
that.
I don't know why I said that. Sorry, sorry, everyone.
um, I bet that's what it is. I bet that it's the same cemetery, but because your dad is buried there now, it's confused you. Like that can't be it. But
Yeah,
I bet that it's if it's that old, that the possibility exists that you were there with somebody else, you know, in a past life, and that your dad also happened to be buried there in this life.
yeah. I never thought about it like that. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Look at me. I don't. Do I get paid in love?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that. Do I have to pay for this?
Interesting. Hmm. That's interesting. That's really weird that you see that's the part that where you said that you the when you were seeing looking at the old pictures and your memory or your dream seemed to be right on. That's what made me
Yep.
think, oh well, maybe that did happen, and this also happened.
Something that I forgot to mention as well. I am riding around on a really, really old bicycle.
Really.
Yeah.
See, that's one of those things I said about like previous life things that they're historical. Historical things are in there.
Mm.
So the fact that it was a really, really old bicycle. That's very interesting, Rob. And how long have you had this dream?
God, I've had it for years and years, years and years. I can't remember when it first started, but it's one that catches me out because I will. I don't know. Say I'm washing up the dishes, and for some reason I'll get this sort of a deja vu feeling, and it'll bring the dream back, and I remember it, and I feel, and then for a few sort of seconds I wonder, was that the first time I've had that dream? And then I think, no, I've had that dream before. It's a bit weird and a bit all mishmashed up, and but I've been having it for a long time, and I always get the deja vu feeling.
Huh.
It's
You
really,
know when you said that you ask yourself, is that the first time I've ever had that dream?
yeah,
I used to do that with the one where I was being chased and going into the secret room. I would have that dream and think, was that the first time I had that dream? No, I've had that dream a lot. And I've always told my husband that if we ever built another house, I really wanted to have secret rooms. So we had looked at this house in Arizona that oddly enough had a secret room. It was a new house, you'd have to build it, but it had this secret library that in the master bedroom that people didn't know was there, and you could go up into this library area, and I was like, oh, if only I could make a secret room in a missile silo. I'd be so happy. Yeah. So that's funny. You said I had this dream before because I've done that too. That's so weird.
I get a lot of deja vu.
You do?
Yeah, and I just do. I do, and it
Hmm.
smells, um, tastes,
Mm-hmm.
sounds give me day. I get a lot of deja. You know when you get that shiver up your spine.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom always used to say someone was walking across your grave.
Yeah,
I say that to my kids now, and they look at me and they're like, "What?" Never mind. They're too modern for old wives' tales.
it's definitely something, isn't it? You're getting a physical reaction to something.
Yes. Yes. Right.
It can't
I've
be
had
nothing.
deja vu. I've had deja vu and then stood there, like, and realized it wasn't this place. Probably. Like, this is newer. But there's something about this that is back in my memory somewhere that is triggering this feeling. And I'll just sit there and look at it and be like, what is it about? What is it that's triggering this feeling? And try and figure it out. I love psychology. I I took 2 semesters of somebody else's psychology class for them. Shh, don't tell them. And I really just love it. I just psychoanalyze myself all the time, which saves me a lot of money. Uh, so I'll sit there and be like, all right, what is it? What is it about this that's making me feel like I've been here before? Usually I can't figure it out.
I get a lot of deja vu with you.
You do?
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought I've told you that before.
no, you haven't.
When we like the when we when we're talking and you say something or I say something to you and you
Uh huh.
go like the bunker thing,
Yeah.
I get a weird deja vu feeling. Like it's crazy.
Oh, 'cause that happens a lot with us.
I told you the other week, didn't I, that about deja. Can't remember what it was now. Oh, okay, that's gonna
Wait,
annoy
you
me.
did? Yeah. What
I
was that
don't know.
about?
It'll probably come to me later on, but it does happen a lot. I would be
Huh.
interested to hear in the comments if people do get deja vu, and if they do, what do they think it is? Do they just think it's just um, they just think it's just something and nothing, or do they put any credence into it? Does it affect them? Does it make them think?
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing that too. I'd like to do a podcast on that, on deja vu.
Yeah,
Because it's a
yeah, that would.
weird phenomenon, isn't it?
Well,
When
yeah,
your
yeah,
brain like goes, I've been here before. I've done this before. We've had this conversation before. And the rest of you is like, I, I don't remember that. But your whole body reacts to it. This has happened before. Then sometimes I'll try and like, okay, what's going to happen next?
yeah, yeah.
Wondering like, is this a psychic thing? Do I know what's happening next?
There was a TV program. It was American actually, about children who had past lives and could remember their past lives, and they would talk about really specific things, and then they would go on to prove that the children were actually that they were right and prove the kids right. Some of these kids were only really, really young, like 5, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, 10 years old, and they were in the Second World War. They were a fighter pilot in the Second World War, and they got shot down over Germany, or
Wow.
uh, and they can remember even to the point where they can
they can fly a plane. Basically, they can tell you how they flew a plane and
Whoa.
how it flew. And I can't think what it was called, but it was brilliant. And most of the kids, so 99.9% of the kids, were all American.
Huh.
So
That's interesting. Well, I think if you allow your children to say those type of things and don't say that's not possible. I think once adults start saying that's not possible to kids, they lose some of that, a lot or all of that ability they have. Josh would I told this on a podcast once that there's this little tiny building in where we lived in Arizona, and it's part of there's a university there, and this is part of like the satellite part of the university, so it belongs to the university, and it's by like a courthouse and whatever. And we were driving by, and Josh said, this is so Bruce Willis. There's dead people there, and I was like, well, no, honey, you know, no, that's there's not dead people there. And he's like, no, there's dead people there. And he was two, maybe three, maybe. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was not three. He was close to two. Um, yes, or maybe a year and a half. He talked very early, much earlier than the rest of my kids. So he said, "There's dead people." I was like, "No," and he was like, "Yes." Dead people. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, there's dead people. Well, I got a ticket not long after that, and I had to take driving school. And the guy who was teaching driving school, which, by the way, didn't teach us a thing about driving, but he did tell us some horror stories about driving with drinks between your legs. Never do it. And he was talking about what things used to be in this town. Um, before they are what they are now. And he said that that building was that city's first hospital. And I was like, holy shit. Sorry, didn't say that. I said, holy heck.
Cow.
Yeah. Holy cow. That, that's crazy. I came home, I said, Jay, do you remember me telling you the kid was like, I see dead people, and that was a hospital. And we were like, no way. That's crazy. But he would see that, and he would see the figures in my house. Um, both of my girls would see shadow figures. Madison said she would see figures up, and this was kind of like la, 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 up in the corners of the room, in the ceiling up there looking down on us, but she called them angels. She said that heaven smelled like cookies. Where I was before smelled like cookies, she would say. Where I was before. And she had a surgery when she was 3 years old, and they put this gas on her face, and told her to blow out blow out the elephants on the wall. They had this picture of elephants. They told her to blow the elephants so she would fall asleep. And so she said when they were going to put the mask on her face, that Jesus stood before her and said it'll be fine. And she said to me, do you know what? Jesus was brown.
He was.
And he was brown. And I was like, so she wasn't seeing the Jesus that is portrayed in modern day, you know, blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus.
Well,
She said, you know what? Jesus was brown. And I said, yes. You know, yes, Jesus was brown. I'll show you where Jesus came from on the map. And I thought, is that not crazy? Is that not the strangest thing you've ever heard in your life? She was almost 3.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you know when I've sent you loads of photographs with Grace, and she can see the orbs and without a camera and stuff.
Mhm.
I was expecting to get a phone call off my ex to say
Right.
shouldn't encourage her.
Right.
But what's the alternative? Tell her that she's seeing things and she's not a full shilling.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I always try and make it so they're not scared, but I don't want to call them a liar. How can I call them a liar after what
Right.
they know that I believe in?
Right. Well, Josh says, I think it's Josh, says he has a memory of him telling me he saw somebody, and I said, no, I don't think you did, blah 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 blah, and and he felt like I was telling him that he was lying or wrong or whatever. I can't imagine me knowing me that I would brush that off unless I was trying to make him not be afraid. Maybe I felt like he was afraid, so I was saying, "Oh, it was probably nothing. It was probably a shadow." You know what I mean? I guess I could have done that, but me knowing me, I think I normally say something like, that won't hurt you. That won't hurt you. Or something. But he feels like he has a very distinct memory of me telling him that he did not see what he saw. So, I can only trust that that happened. I
Excuse
feel
me.
bad about that because it doesn't seem like, especially me.
It's a chupacabra.
That's what it was. It was a chupacabra. He didn't see that. They don't exist. They're those are just mangy dogs. What a letdown. Well, Rob, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Another dream?
No, that's just them two, really.
All right. Well,
Really enjoyed that. I really, really enjoyed that. Thought it was
I
brilliant.
did too. I did too. I liked it. So thank you for doing that with me. And then the next one will be me and Jeremy and Maya, who Maya will be there. And we have told her she has to speak. So hopefully she will. And we'll get their view and their reoccurring dreams. That'll be interesting at
Yeah,
their age to see what their reoccurring dream was.
yeah. Because they're only young, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're only young,
So,
and
so you're so young. Um, Thank you for listening if you made it this far. And if you would please, if you have not already, go ahead and click that like and that subscribe. And if you want to be notified of new content, click that bell and please keep click. All right. Keep clicking that bell until you get the option you want to be notified all the time, which would be awesome. Most of the time, which is second best awesome, or hardly ever, which is still something.
and please, guys, we we love to read your comments. So you
Yes.
know, you know, leave your comments, and we either myself or Tracy will get back to you.
Yeah, I try to answer every comment. So please, and Rob will answer them too. So please leave your comments. And also, we have groups on Facebook. And Rob, would you like to tell them about our groups?
Yeah,
They're groups, right? Not
we
pages.
are groups. Yeah, we've got um, Exit Light Group, which is all things paranormal and supernatural, and films, reviews, and pretty much anything that's out of the ordinary. And we've got another group called, well, I've got a group called Paranormal and Supernatural World, which mirrors the Exit Light Group pretty much. So, yeah, come along and see what the, check it out. They are interesting. Well, I try and keep it as interesting as I can.
He does a great job. There's a lot of things that you probably are not seeing on a regular basis. And if you are interested in paranormal and supernatural things, he does a great job of putting up all kinds of different topics and also putting up when new horror films are going to be put out. And he works very hard on that. He gets
Thank you,
paid
Teresa.
in so much love.
Yeah.
So please go take a look at that and join it. That would be awesome. And then we try to put my content up there too, as well, so that you can see that it's been put up. All right. Well, thank you, Rob.
Thank you. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed that, Teresa.
I did too. I did too. Thank you.
Not a
And
problem.
I will talk to you soon.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night.